I've been a little quiet about the book I'm reading right now. And that's because I started in Thanksgiving. At Thanksgiving, I started rereading Harry Potter. I do it every other year. This year's been a little weird in the rewriting of Harry Potter. Normally, I'm like, ooh, I get to reread Harry Potter. Normally, it's like candy. But I think because everything's so heightened and everybody's a little sensitive, and let me just rephrase that. Maybe because I'm a little sensitive, I got to Harry Potter book 5 right at Christmas. On Christmas Day, I took a flight to Florida, and I flew to Florida on Christmas Day. And when I was on that flight, I had just gotten to the point where Harry, in book 5, it was towards the end. He was sitting down in his OWL exams, his ordinary wizarding level exams, and he fell asleep in history of magic, in his history, basically his history final and his history exam, and I knew it was coming. Like, I know where this goes. I've read it enough. I have lines of this like practically memorized. So I knew exactly what was going to happen when he went into his history of magic exam. And I didn't want to do it. I was getting on this plane and I was going to go have this adventure. And I just didn't want to listen to Harry's horrible experience. I think I just wasn't ready for Sirius. Like, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but at this point, it was written in 2000. I think the book 5 was written in 2004, 2003. So I don't think, maybe not that far away. Yeah, because book 6 was written in 2007. So you do the math on that. Somewhere between 2000 and 2007, right? Book 5 came out, and I have to say, I don't want to give too much away if you haven't read it, but at the same point, yeah, I think I've given you enough chance to get the heck out of this if you don't want to know what I'm going to say. But I just didn't want Harry to have to experience another loss, right? I just wasn't ready for him to be hurting again and to feel like it was his fault. I just wasn't ready for it. And so I was like, I'm not listening to this. And so I got on the plane and I took a break from Harry Potter in the middle of it, which normally once I'm in it, I'm like, so yummy, can't stop. And I went over to a book that's just silly and delightful all at the same time, and it's called The Hating Game. I forget the author, but here's the I don't know where it is, but here's the book cover, right? Here's the book cover somewhere in here. It's The Hating Game, something Thorn. And there's that moment, like there were a couple of them where like they have she's like, we're so cliche, and they have the moment in the elevator, or she just stands up and like stands up for herself in a way that I don't have that thing that she does where she just like tells him off regularly. That's just not me. And so I feel like when I'm reading this book, I'm reading about people who are just not like me at all. And so I get to step out of my own normal, quiet personality and become something else altogether. And so I flew home from Florida. The whole time I was in Florida, I didn't listen to my books at all, which is not like me. I was in the middle of tasks and I did not put my book in my ear to listen. I did the tasks without the books. And then I flew home and I didn't finish listening to it. I finished listening to it after I landed. And then I went back to book 5 and I cried. I just cried when he friggin' had another loss. And then in book 6, he has another loss. And now I'm in book 7. They're in Sirius's house and they're making a plan to infiltrate the Ministry of Magic. And I find myself not picking it up nearly as much as I thought I would, because there's just so much pain and there's so much pressure on him to be something, to solve the problems and to know what to do. And I feel like how many of us have no idea what we're doing? Like, literally, we all have no idea what we're doing. And so I think sometimes it's nice to know that some of our main characters feel the same way, that they just have no idea what they're doing, and they're doing the best they can with what they've been handed. And they've been handed, in this case, a really shitty deck of cards and a really shitty hand. And I really want him to be able to throw all the cards back and say, I'm done with this game. Can we play a different game? A game where he keeps his parents, and a game where he keeps those he loves, and a game where he doesn't feel responsible for everybody around him. Yeah. So those are my Harry Potter thoughts at the moment. Not so happy.